Before we go, here is what an empowered woman, 5D mystic, enlightenment, functional adult, woo woo, pseudoscience lady, podcast host, and secure attachment human being, basically. So, Pinocchio with flesh, a real boy, real girl, real day, can tell you about moving beyond the concept of the one and moving beyond the concept of loving one, but already beginning a life as a teen where you love all people. And people sit you down and they say, you can't love all people equally, Maria. And you say, but I do. And then they sit you down and they ask you who you're going to save if there's the end of the world. This is something that actually took place. Okay. And long story short, with my teenage boyfriend, everybody knows the stories of the cheating. And I just found out how many people are afraid of love completely, not even a little bit, always. And then I got attachment trauma informed. And whoa, look, lo and behold. So here's why twin flame, flames, and soulmates and our oversoul for a 5D mystic are all our friends, and nobody's an enemy at all, like not even a little bit if you're actually a mystic. But in the enlightenment soul age group, and I'm going to use the actually thing because true spirituality is a life of meaning and connection beyond a soul itself, and we got a lot of donkeys out there, and they pull the wool over the eyes of those who are also donkeys. And it's not about stupidity, it's spiritual bypassers who are on Elsa's journey. And when you have adaptive children, though, they are like donkeys. And that's because their ears are closed, not because their mind is closed. They actually have, I don't hear that I'm only hearing what I like to hear and want to hear, and that I'm completely refusing what I don't like. I mean, really. Or that I think my thoughts and emotions that are coming up are actually real. So, real is a word that really means something different for those of us who are independent lovers, thinkers, and basically inner child adults, because we have a blank canvas. It's called true spirituality, life of meaning and connection beyond the soul itself. And now that I know a lot of good academics who explain to me a lot of words and how integrated brain works, and this is what you can become, moving beyond the concept of the one, moving beyond the 4D bandwidth. Patrick McNamara is great for how your brain works if you want a neuroscientific way. If you want an esoteric story lady way, oh, I have that one. But let me give you my interpretation, because if you're tuning in, you're part of the 5D collective. If you're still resonating, if not, it's cool. Thank you for stopping by. It's happening. The minute it's happening, it's done. That's it. You know it's happening. Twin flame, it's happening. Soulmate, it's a colleague. Snap and done, just like that. It's a download, like a perfume. And then you keep on having more fun. Oh, and there are no energy vampires in your oversoul. Again, there's no oversoul that is not a part of us. And that snap and done. Jesus taught it to me. So did God. And then I became a mystic. And I'm like, wow, we're all a big ball of stars and energy. One, but, fragments of each other. So here's where, as you're moving beyond the concept of loving one person, I remember, because there was a theme on our lovely planet as our ascension energies. I've been doing ascension since 2007. I was trying to do the '07, not James Bond. But I have actually been on my spirituality awakening journey since the moment I was in the fetus, since I was born, basically Maria right here, because the piece of consciousness, it's timeless. Doesn't anybody remember that? I know a lot of my past lives too. It's really fun to see past lives with your twin flames, and one of them is a newbie soul. In fact, the entire herd is a 0 to 1 year olds or 0 to 3 year olds. I remember learning about the baby soul, and I'm like, yep, it's that one. And so 3D, by the way, and 4D, they're going to belong to those younger soul age groups. Now, anybody can move into the enlightenment soul age group. Obviously, it's not a competition, but it's no laundry in here. Okay, so your brain is actively integrated and you stay in your body. I don't have out of body experiences when I'm downloading, when I met my twin flames or twin flame at the first time. I didn't know that I'd get more. And once I did, though, I knew what was happening, because, again, a feminine knows what's happening. That's what a mystic who's an actual feminine. And there's no need for channelers or guides for us. But some people, they're here for the ones who have experiences and they need that guidance. So it's not a race, but I'm sharing you, the host here, how snap and done, snap and done. And that's because we have a window welcome for our emotions, that is, and thoughts, because we know they're not irrefutable facts at all, and that when something doesn't go the way we want, that we're going to act like a 3-year-old. But we don't act like a 3-year-old who's actively a grown human being, who's an adaptive child who sounds like a donkey when they're making up shit out of their mouth, quote unquote, based on their subjective reality. And then they prance around with all of their herd members. So that's what it feels like when I'm watching 4D, 3D do their shit. So it's fun. And in the meantime, I'm interested in the ones who want to be their self, come on over for inner growth mindset. Oh, and as I was saying, so romance. Romance is only romance if you consistently have healthy self worth. I do, which is why anytime somebody's like, you need to change, no, this is who you get. Actually, I'm expanding. I'm an expanding piece of consciousness. Don't you notice? I went from not having clairs to having clairs to now being completely the owner of my clairs and even more. Oh, and light body, yep. And Kundalini awakening, yep. There's a lot of beautiful things that come, and they all don't involve a rule book. The only people who need rules are the left mode brainers. I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's very obvious to me that the inner child doesn't have an adult at home saying, oh, look, let me take myself seriously first, get my thoughts and emotions grounded in reality, deal with uncertainty, unwanted, unexpected from within while going with the flow, and have my brain become integrated and, in fact, become a complete expanding consciousness human being. Right here, infinite higher human conscious potential experience. You know, your oversoul gets you everywhere. That's because the entire human race and beyond. Oh, when I opened up to the galaxies, now that was fabulous. I never forget that. It was a 15-minute voice note I sent on this amazing moment of my brain. And this was before I moved out of the 4D plane. The 4D was, again, snap and done. And it was not something that I shared with many people, but I have my empowered women and they know about it, and my empowered men. But typically, the empowered men's are not mystics, so they make fun of my woo woo ness. But I still share because they still love me. I still love them too, even if they're not woo woo like I am. And so we have fun together. This is why when you tell your future husband and he doesn't tease you about what the future is, and then you meet who's in your future too, and they're part of another type of galactic force, it gets wild. And people think we smoke things. I don't do drugs. I drink a little bit of wine and they're teasing me about it, a little bit of alcohol, and I smoke cigars. See, you don't have to keep it strict unless you're an adaptive child who goes to extremes. And obviously, it's, a vessel. But you know what keeps my body rejuvenating and resting? Oh, it's called my mammalian heritage. You can be here too, unless you want some lame excuse. Since I'm doing a good job with my life, with avoiding attachment, I don't want to journal in mindful or do meditation. I want to stay this way because, humans are fucked up and they're picking on us. Who's picking? I noticed people picking on humans. You don't see me saying, hey, those of you who picked on humans. Actually, it's funny because the ones who pick on humans, I'm like, you're a misanthropist and you don't like yourself. You're human. And when I was a teenager, they know it's not true. It's just some humans. Well, technically, we're all the same humans. I mean, we don't even know a foreign species yet. And people make up shitty movies that we have to watch. No, I don't watch them much, but I do sometimes because, social events. There's only so many things that we can all have in common. So I do action adventure. I prefer that they have nice endings. People who know me, they know how to choose those movies that I'll enjoy. Others want to share how they enjoy stuff, and so we share. Sid, Manny, Diego, Pacha, Cusco. Again, this is how it works. A herd is made of all Pinocchios with wooden bodies, with the ears, the tails. The donkeys, we start to notice that they just make the same sound. So we eventually can translate what they're speaking, but that depends on how often we have to encounter them. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm a little bit teasing right now, but romance is on a high always, not just sometimes, because love is what this body is when you have secure attachment, a differentiated self, your whole 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old. Come on over if you're interested. And that means, though, emotional stuff. So, window of tolerance expanding first, and I am attachment trauma informed. So, I understand that some people will not want to work with therapists, but I have a good network of therapists that work with me. And that's because those of us who care about mental health, and that means we care about people, and I do personal development, self-help, and relationships, beautiful functional adult relationships. I have plenty of names for you to go to if you're serious and you want those. Terry Rio for couples, Patrick Tian, childhood trauma survivor, Daniel Siegel, he's just amazing, and Bezel Vanderkook. I don't know if he's still taking people. Peter Levine isn't. That's unfortunate, but I'm sure he's busy with his work. But and then Stephen Porges is busy with his work too. But we're going to end. So, yeah, moving beyond the concept of the one, I knew what was happening, like moving beyond the concept of love. And the funny thing is, though, some people along my journey, they don't understand how we handle emotions because, everybody has a different relationship with them. And so some of us, we welcome them because they're not torture. And that's because my brain uses the prefrontal cortex. and not the temporal junction that ruminates. And so when you have bilateral integration, that means that you're emotional. Yeah, my emotions come up. My thoughts are okay, but that's because I have a mom who let me be a child. And so I grew up to not lose the innocence. I put it in quotes because to people that I don't like, or to people that are triggered by an authentic self, I'm an evil bitch and an evil witch. And you better bet that there are people who make up shit behind my back and I don't really care. Meaning that as a teenager, I'm like, how fearful, fearful Albert Filbert. There's a book I read, and to me, the fact that you can talk about a person behind their back, it's not about the gossip thing, because we all will talk about. I share stories, right, about the man who cornered me, quote unquote, to make me become his friend as he's drunk. Just saying, I'm okay with being able to say I can be interpreted in two different ways. And I realized this as a teenager, and I realized that confidence and being your authentic self is what has people being afraid of a 4'9" woman, and then talking behind my back, though, and then coming even eventually and letting me know, which makes me think even more about donkeys, because I'm like, wow, this is getting better and better by the minute. Like, the fact is that I'm amazed at people going to therapy with their partner, by the way, and our partners. And it doesn't matter whether you're monoamory or polyamory, and they don't know how to be vulnerable with a therapist. And that means they don't want to be emotional. Do you understand? That's why Pinocchio with the wooden body. And it's because they don't want to be vulnerable because they're still their 16-year-old for the secure attachment ones. Some trust break happened. My boyfriend, the teenage one, he didn't traumatize me at all. I was happy. A month after I was broken up, I'm like, oh my gosh, she gave me a gift. And one day would say, you got him, he got lost. You let him get away. You let him get away. He wasn't my dog. I didn't know love was me keeping a person on a leash. I don't try keeping me on a leash, because I'm going to be like, sayonara, baby. And so this is what an empowered woman and man, by the way, looks like, or that means, what do you want? Bring it on. So when we meet romance, it's because they consistently walk a walk and talk a talk. That's what potches do. Anything else, it ain't romance. It's just, and it ain't even a push and pull, because that's exactly what a secure attachment differentiated empowered woman or man will be like. You did what? You think you discarded me? You think I'm chasing something? I don't, did you not hear? I don't, drag anybody in love. Love is not hard work. Nope, not even a little bit. You move beyond concepts. You're like, yep, the one for me, they need to keep up with love. And that's always on a high. Even when you're down, nope, we're not down. There's no laundry here. Again, window of welcome to emotions is really nice. If you are wanting to, come and join us. It's called love. It's called life. It's called you have your own divine feminine, your own divine masculine. Then I like to say this is the masculine, this is the feminine, inner growth mindset, thoughts, emotions. They come together with your body. Body and mind harmony, somatic life, restorative embodiment, self-awareness for people who are serious, one-to-one mentorship. We're going to have a masterclass that's going to be group focused. We have a bunch of communities, and we have audio podcast version on Spotify, Amazon, you name it. YouTube, follow, TikTok, of course, if you want, although I don't know how much I'm going to be able to use TikTok. But again, moving beyond the concept of loving one person is not hard, because love is constant in a body that knows its own self-worth, and living a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. You're a mammal. I'm a mammal. Attachment system is not compromised. So it's either you are secure attached or you earned that secure attachment, which creates a safe haven. I know how to self-regulate my nervous system, and then secure base, go off into the adventurous world and make sure to have a herd with me and me with my herd, and to look out for each other and support each other and do what every day is. It's really beautiful. We don't need superhero capes. We have heart and our heads, and we're walking around not like a wooden Pinocchio, and that's a really good step. Believe me. Join us. Love is awesome. Polyamory. Come on over for secure attachment, healthy self-worth conversations, and monoamory, of course, as well. So we're all with our lovely Jesus. He walked with all people, again, and he showed us how to forgive and be unconditionally loving. We all have flaws and imperfections, but we like to do direct communication with functional adult love language. Tune in for more and have a great day.